It is the Morning X, Barnes and Leslie, and we're going to release and roll out the Police Rushmore tomorrow. These would be the 4 definitive Police songs, which is so hard. It's
impossible.
It really is.
I think Ghost in the Machine is probably my favorite album from the Police. I love a lot of the songs on there, like Invisible Sun, but it's so hard.
Taking a look at their career, and I wanted to get some calls. If you have an opinion on the Police and why they mean so much to you, I would love to talk to you. 470-741-4999. Listen to Trudy Styler, of course, Sting's wife, and some of the other guys in the band just kind of talking about their overarching life, if you will, during like the height of their career. Quick clip.
Andy, son of Sting and Stewart, had this sort of real brotherly love-hate relationship that they would literally like beat each other up.
We were a little bit too volatile to stay together under those wild conditions.
In a way, too, was like a marriage that was over.
For a time, we sensed that there was a certain amount of angst on Sting's part, like identifying with the Police when he felt like he could probably go on his own. He'd been, in a couple of movies and done acting stuff, and he was obviously getting a lot of attention and probably thought he could carry it on his own. So I could sense that pulling away.
The night before, I sat with Andy and Stewart, and I said, look, this is as good as it gets, guys. We're playing Shea Stadium. It's where the Beatles played. We're the biggest band in the world this year. After this, it's going to be diminishing returns, I think we should stop now at the top.
I had no idea it was so volatile. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did, because when I went to the reunion tour over 10 years ago, and it was tough for them to even do that.
Which is amazing that they were at such the height, playing Shea Stadium. And imagine Sting pulling them aside and going, hey guys, this is it.
We're at the top.
Yeah.
Let's quit while we're ahead.
Yeah, no bigger. Hey, Morning X, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
What do you think is their best song?
So the first Police song I ever discovered was Message in a Bottle. And this happened while I was at a friend's house. We were just listening to some music, and I didn't know what my musical tastes were at the time. And suddenly this song comes up, and I'm like, wow, what is that? My friend tells me it's the Police, Message in a Bottle. It's a classic. I'm like, that's amazing. And eventually I connected with the lyrics because there were times when I felt alone, like, lonely. Nobody wanted to do anything. Nobody wanted to hang out. It felt like I was on a deserted island. Eventually I realized that I was not alone at being alone, as they say in the song lyrics. And there are many people in the same boat as I was. And I guess that kind of served as my gateway to rock music, which later evolved into alternative. And interestingly enough, that's kind of how I found 99X.
Wow, that's a great story.
Wow.
His story is really about the power of music, so thank you for sharing that.
Hey, good morning. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
What is your, if you had to peg a song as, their best?
Whoa, that's tough. There's a bunch, and each one, I was a kid growing up, and each one kind of meant something different. But if I had to narrow it down, it would probably be the first album, and I'd probably say "Can't Stand Losing You."
That's a good one.
Good song.
Yeah, it was, it showed off the pop, the rock, and then definitely the reggae. You're growing up in that teenage angst, and it's about breaking up with his girlfriend, and you're going in that where all like goofy kids, you break up your girlfriend, you're like, oh my god, I can't deal with this. So, but the music, it was nothing like I've ever heard. I mean, for a trio, arguably my favorite drummer, Stuart Copeland. Sting is a god, and Andy Summers was around for a while, and he was more classic rock. And you put those three together, and Sting had a jazz background. That's where that music came from. If you didn't have all three of those guys together, you wouldn't have gotten that sound.
It's true.
Yeah.
Did you get to go to that reunion show?
Yes, it was unreal.
Did you know how much of the problems that were going on behind the scenes?
Oh my God, there was, it started off as Stuart Copeland's band, and his brother was with A&M Records for a while, and then his other brother was in the band with Stuart, I guess his first band pre-Police. He thought it was his band, and obviously Sting comes along, and he's a musical god and great frontman. He was everywhere, then. And they were just touring so much in those 6 years they were together.
Listen to this clip. This is Sting and Stuart Copeland in rehearsals. Like, I don't know how I missed that they had so much angst for each other. This was rehearsals for the reunion. Check this out.
That's going to be cover of Modern Drummer magazine is going to be devoted to that drum fill.
It's amazing that you could play that drum fill in 9 beats.
Right?
It's fantastic.
Just because you get lost, just because it's a little confusing for the bass playing element.
I mean, guys.
Yeah, that was 2007, 2008, because they were celebrating the 30th anniversary of the band.
Oh, wow.
All right. Thank you for calling.
Yes.
Thanks for listening.
Appreciate it. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
This is so hard, Barnes. So we're building this 99X Mount Rushmore for the Police and the best Police songs. People have voted, which we will reveal tomorrow. And again, if you have a thought, we actually have another caller. Good morning. Morning X, who's this?
This is Tommy Champagne from Cumming.
Tell us what you think. Police, favorite song?
My favorite Police song is Walking on the Moon, because every Police song is just about makes you think about being on the beach. But I think the irony of it is, hey, you're on the beach getting a tan, playing beach volleyball, and you're in the lake, and you think about walking on the moon. And it really highlights Stuart Copeland's intellectual drumming. I mean, when you think about the great drummers in history, you think of John Bonham and Keith Moon and Neil Peart just banging the drums, but then you got Stuart Copeland, who's all technical with jazz. And it just shows how funny Copeland is, because my first exposure to him was he did the music for Good Burger. So I love how quirky he is. He's so quirky, but he's so intelligent at the same time. All the jazz influence and all that stuff. So
you're so right. And as a drummer, I grew up worshiping him. And it's funny, you can totally tell, which was part of their magic, that it was his band first. Yeah. Because his drums take the lead in so many songs. So many other drummers couldn't get away with that because it wasn't their, you know what I mean? It wasn't their band first. So Sting kind of had to give in and pick his battles, in my opinion. But his drum fills, I watch him on TikTok all the time talking about it. He plays the little fills and talks about it. They're legendary.
Yeah, they really are. I mean, I just love how, Stuart Copeland and Steve Smith, other jazz-influenced drummers, Buddy Rich, and there's not a whole bunch of bang on the drums, which is great. You get the aggression out, you get the real power of the sound, but the real intuitive of it is, the percussion, playing the cymbals and even the maracas.
It's good stuff. Thank you for calling.
That was a great record, too.
Yes, such a good record. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, had Message in a Bottle in it. And wow, every one of their albums, though, had big hits.
So good. Yeah, thank you for calling. So tomorrow we will reveal the Rushmore from your voting, which ended at the end of the day on Tuesday. Want to take you to break with Stuart talking more about the band. But man, it's when you see what the four are, this is such a difficult argument. We'll get into the Police Rushmore tomorrow. This is Stuart Copeland.
Synchronicity was just miserable all the way down. We fought all the time, and the fighting was just really ugly, just like trying to destroy each other's, self-esteem. That's when we just hated each other. Once we got on the road with the tour, things simmered down a little bit because we really did still enjoy the gigs. Angry as he was, he loved it that he was with a band that was kicking ass. I thought we were going to take a few years off, that Sting was going to do a solo album, he was going to do some acting, and then we'd get back together because it was such a cool group. I'm still waiting.
The Morning X with Barnes and Leslie. 99 X.